Barcelona has defeated Ceuta 5-0 with 2 goals coming from Lewandowski, a goal coming from Rafinha, a goal coming from Ansu Fati, and lastly, 1 goal coming from Kessie. This is going to be a player that we will be talking about later down this video because Kessie did provide 2 assists and 1 goal. This was amazing. Now, in the first half, it was not the best, right? We were slow, we were not connecting passes, we did not look as clinical, and I do not know if this is like some sort of mental issue, but every time Barcelona do face against very lower level teams like those 3rd division clubs or 2nd division clubs, it's like Barcelona just do not try hard because they assume that automatically their talent is going to get them through, which is not the case. And I felt like Barcelona, for a moment there in the first half, we were going to play another 120 minutes like we did in the previous game in the Copa del Rey, but Xavi Hernandez has managed to lift FC Barcelona in the second half with great substitutions. We were great mentally, we looked much more concentrated because again, we could not afford playing another 120 minutes. There was just no reason to do that. Like, I get like if Barcelona did and played like 120 minutes against Villarreal or against Sociedad or against Real Betis, I understand that, but against a 3rd division club, like really, do you really want to play 120 minutes against a 3rd division club? It just didn't make any sense. But now Barcelona have got the job done. They scored like about 4 goals in the second half and we did it. Barcelona is in the quarterfinals. Now, the way that I'm going to be like organizing this video is that I do want to talk about just 3 players, which is going to be Ferran, Ansu Fati, and Kessie, and for very important reasons. And so if you do want to skip to certain parts within this video, everything is going to be organized on the timeline down below. So let's go with point number 1, which will be about Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres, it was said about him like recently that he is meeting with a psychologist mainly because he lacks self-confidence, which is very true because he has been seen on the pitch yet again against Ceuta that his body language is just not correct. The way that he tackles on the 1v1s when he is attacking, it just doesn't look like he has the energy to do anything, and that is because he has very low confidence, which is why Ferran Torres has been meeting with those people that do try to train these players mentally that everything's going to be okay, that you should not feel 100% down. Now look, I don't know Ferran Torres and his personal issues. I don't know what's going on outside of the pitch, but clearly something is going on. Maybe you guys know, but hopefully he gets through it because, you know, everybody goes through certain things that we have to overcome in order to improve our lives, right? It happened to Cristiano Ronaldo, it happened to Messi, it happened to even myself, it happens to a lot of people, and we have to learn how to get through those hurdles. So I hope that the same thing can go on with Ferran Torres because again, we just do not know what is going on with this player. It clearly can't be something that's inside the field because Xavi Hernandez has a very dynamic and very positive environment within this club. So it's something is going on with Ferran Torres that we just do not know about, and hopefully again he gets through it. You know, in this game against Ceuta, yet again he has shown a very worrying way of saying that he does not look like he wants to improve, right? His confidence is very low. He only had like about 22 touches, very little involvement, by the way. And so I'm concerned about what Ferran Torres actually needs at this time because like Ferran Torres, if anything, is needed by FC Barcelona. Last season, remember, like a year ago around this time, remember what Ferran Torres was doing. Ferran Torres at 100% playing for FC Barcelona, he is like one of the best players or one of the best wingers in the world, and it makes Barcelona look much more dynamic. Remember, he was a very clinical part on why Barcelona defeated Real Madrid 4-0. We know what Ferran Torres could do. It's just that he's going through a phase right now. So things like this is normal. Like I want to say, like what these players go through mentally, I don't know what's going on. It can either be like the pressure or it could be like some motivations going on outside of the field, but these things are normal, and hopefully someone like him does not end up like Bojan like about 11 to 12 years ago, back in 2010 2011. Bojan did experience some sort of like mental breakdown. He was going through mental issues, and that is the reason why we do not hear about Bojan today. It's one of the reasons why Bojan did not even take part of the last 2 years of Pep Guardiola's FC Barcelona, and at one point Bojan was considered to be as like one of the best players in the world and might even follow the exact same footsteps of Lionel Messi. And now look at where Bojan is. And so things like these are very serious, and I don't want Ferran Torres to go through this. And the fact that FC Barcelona has paid 75 million euros for Ferran, like a player like him, and for how much we paid for, he needs to act like we paid 75 million euros. He needs to be scoring a goal every other game or provide an assist every other game. Now let's go on towards point number 2, which will be Ansu Fati. And I'm not going to ignore Ansu Fati's performance and what he has been doing in the past 3 or 4 weeks because I know that there is a very big agenda against Ansu Fati because the hate is just so real with Ansu. Like when Ansu does something extraordinary extraordinary well, people want to ignore it. When he does something bad, they want to extend that and emphasize that and put that on the media. But Ansu Fati today has yet again showed that he is on his way to becoming one of the best wingers in the world. Do I believe that Ansu Fati is playing extraordinary right now, that he's playing world class? He's not, but he is on the way. It's all about the progress. Right now, Ansu Fati in the past 3 to 4 games, he is scoring about 1 goal every game. He scored the winner against Intercity, which was our previous match in the Copa del Rey. He placed Barcelona 2-1 up in extra time against Real Betis when we really needed that goal. And then he scored against Ceuta with an amazing finish. He looked very composed. His body language is amazing. He has gained full confidence, and we cannot ignore what Ansu Fati is doing right now, because now Ansu Fati is only going to be asking, okay, how can I try to improve myself? How can I do better? How can I put myself in a position where I can score at the very least 1 goal per game? And I know that Ansu Fati is going to be questioning that, and he's going to want to figure out what he can do to become even better, because right now Ansu Fati at just 50%, and even he knows that. Even at him 50% is scoring a goal every other game. So you better bet that Ansu Fati should be given continuity. He should be given more minutes, because the moment you get Ansu Fati at 80% or higher, you have a very dangerous player. And again, Xavi knows that. Ansu Fati knows that. Ansu Fati at 100% will be a starter in this Barcelona squad. He will be a killer in the box. He would be right next to Lewandowski in terms of goals, because we know what he could do. So again, right now with Ansu Fati at just 50%, his energy is great. His body language is great. Everything is positive about Ansu Fati, and hopefully, like within these next 2 games, we are going to be facing Getafe, and I believe I have no idea what's going to be the next game. I think it's Elche. I could be wrong, like completely wrong, but I know the next game is going to be against Getafe. But hopefully in these next 2 games before we face Real Betis, which is 3 games from now, Ansu Fati is 100%, and I do believe that he will end up in that position. So let's root for Ansu. Let's back this player. He needs to be 100% backed in order for him to do well, even if it's outside of the field and inside of the field, right? Us fans have to do our part. And so the last player that I do want to talk about will be Kessie. Now, did we just see the last game of Kessie? Because at the moment that I am recording this video, the future of Kessie is very uncertain, because a few hours ago, about 6 hours before the game even started, it was said, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Kessie is open to joining Inter Milan, but Brozovic's priority right now is to stay at Inter Milan. Now, I know that things could change when it comes to Brozovic. He could say, you know what, I want to move to FC Barcelona and leave Inter Milan. So the moment that does end up happening, if all of this is true, if Kessie also is very open to joining Inter Milan, which is crazy again, because he used to be an AC Milan player, it would be a deal where I would say it's a win for FC Barcelona. But now seeing what Kessie is doing and what he did against Ceuta, do we actually want to let go of this player? Because he did provide 2 assists and scored 1 goal. The exact same type of numbers that Gavi did against Real Madrid. Of course, with Gavi is much more impressive because it was our biggest rival, Real Madrid. But Kessie at the end of the day was able to perform at a very good level with 2 assists, 1 goal. He was involved in 65% of our goals, and Kessie was probably the best player for FC Barcelona on this night. He gave Barcelona a direction. He took the ball away from the opposition. He intercepted the ball so well, and he led the charge for this Barcelona squad, and the rest followed. That is why we saw immediately right after Lewandowski scoring goals, Ansu Fati scoring goals, believing that they can do it, because if Kessie can do it, they can do it. Kessie also came out from this match by creating the most chances, which was a total of 3. So again, is Kessie trying to tell us that maybe this move is not needed? Maybe we just should not sell Kessie to Inter Milan and bring Brozovic? Like, should Xavi Hernandez continue to put faith on this player? Now, here's where it gets very tricky, because again, the problem is Barcelona needing a central defensive midfielder, and right now, looking at Kessie, the problem is not that he's not involved in anything, because he just scored a goal and he provided 2 assists. The real problem is that Xavi Hernandez is looking for a different profile within this squad, because he believes that whatever Kessie provides, Gavi and Pedri or Frenkie de Jong can do it much better. And he's saying, okay, I understand that Kessie can do this and that, but I need a different profile. Like, Kessie can score 2 goals every game, but I want, again, a different profile to overall just strengthen this squad and make it much more balanced. That is the problem. So it's like, no matter what Kessie does, or how many goals he provides, how many assists he provides, it doesn't really matter, because Xavi Hernandez is looking for a specific profile. But again, looking at this performance, does this change anything? Does Kessie scoring 1 goal and providing 2 assists mean that he is leaving and he wants to leave Barcelona with a bang, or he did this in order for him to prove that he does want to stay and that he is good enough to be maybe even in the starting 11? So overall, it was a great game. Ansu Fati scored a great goal, Lewandowski scored 2 great goals, Rafinha scored an amazing goal also. Like, when it comes to Rafinha, I want him to score more goals from outside of the box, because he is the only player that I think is very, very capable to score those long shot goals. He unlocked the 1-0 for FC Barcelona, and I think that his long shots are very underrated, and I feel like Rafinha does know that. He believes that maybe his long shots are underrated, and maybe he's trying to test his limits moving forward. So overall, it was a match that we were supposed to win, so this is no surprise. Our next game will be against Getafe on Sunday, and so of course I'm going to be making that pre-match preview, the review. And if you also do want to support this channel, and you also do want to like get notified immediately when I post those pre-match previews and those match reviews for any specific match, subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell notifications, and you will be notified immediately and live on your phone when I do post. So thank you guys so much for joining in, and I will see you guys in the next one.